Jody and I met on eHarmony. We corresponded for 3 days before we met in person at a movie theater.
And I was actually super nervous after I met her because I didn't think she liked me because I told a really stupid joke.
I really liked Jody. I thought that we had a lot in common.
The next day, she flew to Guatemala.
I left for Guatemala for 3 months to learn Spanish. While I was in Guatemala, I introduced Jody to my brother-in-law.
So Elisabeth introduced me to her brother-in-law, CJ. CJ had invited me to join Heaven's Family as a web intern, and I was ecstatic because I thought it was the next direction in my life from God. And I was also excited to maybe see what happened with Elisabeth.
So when I got back from Guatemala, a week later, Jody started his internship.
For the next 8 months, we built a friendship and eventually a relationship.
8 months later, he asked me to be his girlfriend.
We had started courting for 4 months, and we both knew that we wanted to spend the rest of our lives together.
I was going to Guatemala to become fluent in Spanish.
And so as soon as she left, I knew that I wanted to fly down and surprise her and ask her to marry me.
Jody and I corresponded and called each other almost every single day while I was in Guatemala.
I eventually asked her parents for permission to marry her.
So I was coming to the end of my stay in Guatemala when Jody called me and said,
"Hey, I'm gonna take the next day off. I'm gonna take the day off from electronics and spend some time with God."
I was really disappointed. I really wanted to talk to him, but I figured, hey, it's good that he's spending time with the Lord.
The next day, I get on the plane and I fly to Guatemala.
That Saturday, I called Jody several times, and each time I kept getting his answering machine. I didn't understand why. I was kind of upset at him, so I Facebook messaged him and I said, "Jody, where are you? Why isn't your phone back on? You're done with your fast already."
And I was like, "Hey, I'm sorry, my phone's not working," which it wasn't. I was in Guatemala. And I was like, "Maybe we'll talk later. I'm gonna go out for lunch with some friends." And she was not happy about that.
Now that, I was kind of upset about that. I'm like, hey, I'm more important than going out to lunch with friends.
But she didn't know that she was the friend that I was gonna go out for lunch with.
I got over those emotions and I went about my day.
I arranged it so that her friends would take her out to lunch at this beautiful overview of these volcanoes in Guatemala.
So I went with them, they picked me up, and my friend Calissa, she handed me this book.
I had written like a children's fairy tale book, kind of detailing our love story and how God brought us together.
In the book, it looked like a children's book, and I was just kind of confused of why she gave it to me. And it was titled The Knight and the Princess, A Story of the King's Goodness.
Like I set it up so that she'd read it, and then at the end of the book, she'd freak out and realize it's telling our story.
Whoa, wait a second.
And at the end, it tells that the knight flies to this far-off country to make the next biggest decision of his life. He's gonna ask the princess to marry him. And at that point, she's just gonna go crazy.
And that's when I realized, oh my goodness, Jody is in Guatemala. Where the heck is he? I could not believe it. Tears started streaming down my face. I started looking for him in the van, but I realized he wasn't there quite yet. You're serious? I asked my friends, where is he? But got no response. Where the heck is he? My friend Calissa, once we got to the restaurant, she handed me a note that was from Jody, and it said, "Meet me at the bird cages."
And I placed a note at the bird cage saying, "Meet me at this other place."
I ran to the bird cages as fast as I could, and in the bird cages there was 2 roses and a note. And the note said for me to go to this another spot in the park. I went to 6 different spots, and each place had 2 roses and a note. I came to the last one, and it said to meet Jody in the chapel. Now this chapel was kind of like an indoor chapel. It was just covered, and it was already like set up for a wedding. There was flowers everywhere. It was beautiful.
And I was hiding behind the pulpit, and my friend whispered to me, "She's coming down the aisle.
She's come down the aisle."
And so I jump out, and I'm like, "Oh my goodness."
Oh my goodness.
Last prophet talks about a woman who's so worthy and noble and riches. And it starts out by saying, an excellent wife, who can find? Where those water books, it goes on to talk about why she's so worthy, why she's so, she has such a servant's heart for her family, and she serves diligently. She loves God above everything else. Closes and saying, but a woman of fierce glory she shall be praised. Every time I've read this in the past, I'm like, God, whoever gets a woman like that is going to be the most blessed man. This past 7 months, I feel like I'm so blessed. I love you so much. Not only do I love you, I love serving God. I love you. So I'd like to ask you to join me on this lifelong journey of loving God, loving other people, and loving each other. Will you marry me?
Yes.
Surprise. Oh, you had no idea this was coming.
No! Oh my goodness.